We're excited that game week's here. I think we've had 3 good weeks of preparation, 2 where we were in camp and grinding away from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And then last week we settled down with getting back to class and kind of the schedule that we'll have in a week's preparation. So we're excited to get started on this week's game. The game's finally here. Obviously we play a great opponent in Oklahoma State, one that we respect tremendously. We're really working hard on our preparation and how we go about our weekly process, what we do today, what we do tomorrow, what we do Wednesday, Thursday, etc. Just getting into that routine that we set last spring in our spring football season. So I feel like our guys competed extremely hard. I feel like guys are good in the depth chart, and that we feel like, there's still be some competition this week. Some guys that are still close on who's 1, who's 2. A lot of times what happens with the depth chart is, particularly on offense, whoever starts the game is because of the personnel grouping that you picked out or the particular plays that you picked out. So we feel like there's a lot more than 11 starters on the team than just the 11 that run out there that first play. But looking forward to the preparation. I think our players are excited for the opportunity and certainly looking forward to the challenge.
You guys named the starting quarterback?
Jason Shelley will start the game for us. We feel like he had a great camp. I thought Jaden did a really good job, and Jake, they competed extremely hard. I feel comfortable with all 3 of those guys. And like I said before, Hess Horn, the true freshman, is going to be a really good quarterback. He had another really nice scrimmage the other night. It wasn't a scrimmage, it was a mock game. But he did a good job in the mock game the other night.
What separated him from others just kind of throughout all of this?
Yeah, I think his consistency, his quick release, and his ability to understand defenses just a little bit more. His experience really showed up throughout practices, and his ability to adjust to defense and get the ball out of his hand.
Coach, it's been 4 months since you last played a game. Is that a good thing as opposed to years before? Because everything's kind of so fresh with the guys, or is it a bad thing physically with their bodies?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because it is what it is. I feel like our players did a tremendous job of getting ready for the season physically. We tried to shut them down the month of May and keep them away from here. And they were coming up to the weight room and lifting on their own, and then we worked extremely hard on in the months of June and July in our conditioning and weightlifting and change of direction and the different things you want to do there. And I was really surprised how well they tested, how much strength we gained and speed and everything, and how they attacked it. And very impressive to me. So I felt like they did a great job of handling the short period of time.
You've got your opponent who played in the fall, so they didn't have as many games in the spring. As a coach that's played these kind of games before, do you think that's going to be maybe a little bit your way, an advantage?
I mean, you really don't worry about that. Again, you just got to line up and play. And you think back of years where you didn't play in the spring, well, you had time to go through the winter program and spring practice and maybe, put in some new stuff or try some new stuff and things like that. So certainly we, missed some of that, but it really doesn't matter. We're playing on Saturday night, and both of us have had the same amount of practices here and leading up to the game. So that's just how you prepare for it.
You have an update on Dimitri Moore?
Dimitri did well. He practiced all week last week, and had some live snaps in the mock game the other night. Did a good job. So he'll be in their competition this week to see how many reps he gets and where he fits.
Coach, do you think last year's game at OU to open the year can be helpful for some of the returns as they see another FBS opponent this year?
Yeah, I think you take something from it. A lot of our guys that played in that game last year probably don't remember it a lot. That was a real battle. We had guys missing practice. There were days out there we only had 36 guys at practice. We had some guys that played in the game that really only practiced 5 days prior to the game. So that was just a survival, get to the game type of atmosphere. We've been great with COVID. Our guys have all been at practice. We've been, knock on wood, fairly healthy. I feel like our preparation is way ahead of where we were last year at that time.
Coach, going back to last year, it seemed before the first game that you were focused more on the process rather than the result in that game. Like you talked about teaching your guys how to prepare the right way, practice the right way, compete and show up. How have the expectations shifted from the first game last year to the first game this year?
Yeah, well, I think we have guys that have been through the process now and understand it. And we're working really hard at, perfecting our craft, getting better each day individually, with our technique and fundamentals. And then, like I just said, we're way ahead of understanding our offense, understanding defenses, understanding our defense and what offenses are going to try to do to us. So we feel like we're way ahead. But we got to go out and compete, and we're playing a very good football team. And it's up to us to go out and compete and play hard for 4 quarters.
Coach Robert Allen from the Oklahoma State Cowboy Radio Network. Let me ask you first about your wide receiver, Demorie Vick. He's a local kid from the Oklahoma City area that has been really, really good for you. It was tremendous last spring. I'm going to bet he's pretty charged up to come back for this.
Oh, I bet he is. He's one of the guys you smile at every day at practice. You cheer for him and everything that he does because he has such a great attitude. He works extremely hard. He's got always a smile on his face. He goes as hard on every single play that he possibly can. He's been very, very productive for us. And I feel like he is a lot further along at this point than he was last year. His understanding of what we're trying to do, his understanding of route running, allows him to play faster and not hesitating. So he's had a really good pre-fall for us.
Coach, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm not a big TV watcher unless it's ESPN or sports, games, stuff like that. But my wife watches a show called Blue Bloods. I think Tom Selleck's the police chief in New York City, and they sit around the dinner table on Sundays, and everybody's either a cop or a lawyer in the family. I see where your son is your OC, your son-in-law is your defensive coordinator. What are family dinners like? Is there a lot of football talk, or does somebody put the kaputz on that?
Well, I'm probably just the opposite of you. When I turn the TV on, I don't watch Sports Center and I don't watch all those experts out there. I sit down and enjoy NCIS and Blue Bloods and Yellowstone and different shows like that are entertaining. Actually have fun with it, but we don't talk a lot of football when we're at the dinner table. It's one of those things that you just get away from and enjoy the grandkids. That's what I do. I enjoy the grandkids being around and laughing and joking and having fun with them.
All right, Coach, thanks.
You bet.
Yeah, Bobby, you've been around a long time. You got to be coming off the most unique year of your career. What does playing in the spring, how do you think that changed your team in terms of preparation or readiness for autumn, fall of 2021?
Well, you're right. It was one of the most unusual years I've ever been involved with. We played in the fall for 3 games, and I did feel like that helped us a lot. I didn't feel like we were very good. I feel like our guys really learned how to compete and play together, but we didn't know a whole lot what we were doing offensively and defensively and special teams. Playing in the spring, was one where we learned how to compete extremely hard, play with great effort, and then as the season went on, we started playing the game of football better. We started executing offensive plays better, executing defensive calls and understanding what offenses are trying to do better, being more effective on special teams. So playing throughout those games in the spring helped us understand, our offense, defense, special teams, and showed a lot of improvement. I do believe it still starts with great effort and toughness and playing together as a team, but you got to execute the game of football too.
You guys had quite a bit of success in the spring, made the 1AA playoffs. What does that do for the program that you were trying to sort of reignite coming into Springfield?
Yeah, I think what it did is get our players to believe in themselves, believe in their teammates, and believe in the process that we're going through. And that's a good start. And this is a new team. You know, we had a bunch of different guys on the team. So we're going through those same trials right now in practice, and that's why, you know, you make practices difficult, make practices hard, get the players to grow together and you know, come together as one unit. That's what we've been working hard at in preseason here.
We talked last summer, I think it was, and you talked about, you know, what Springfield and Missouri State job, how it appealed to you. A year later, how do you view it? How much have you enjoyed it? How much do you like the challenge? How do you view this job basically a year and a half into it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. You know, first of all, the challenge is the conference that we're in. You know, it's the best FCS conference there is out there. You play teams that are really well coached and have good players week to week. And we've been able to, you know, compete and beat a lot of them. So that was a lot of fun. I think recruiting is a place that we can really recruit to with the campus and the city that we have and the geographical area. So that makes it another appealing thing about the job.
Hey, Bobby, Eli Letterman from the Tulsa World. Uncharacteristic maybe of a historical Mike Gundy team, Oklahoma State is maybe going to be a defense as a strength this season. How do you prepare for a defense like that, particularly throwing in a transfer quarterback?
Yeah, there's a lot to prepare for on defensively. They do a lot of different things. They're very fast and physical, and you see all the experience back there in you know, all positions really, linebackers, secondary, safeties, corners. You know, a group that really played well together and played fast together. So it's a difficult challenge. It's one that we're certainly looking forward to, though. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And to bring a new quarterback into the system in the time you've done it, and then to have him start his first game at Boone Pickens Stadium, how do you prepare a quarterback for that?
Yeah, I mean, we just go about the same process that we always do, and the good thing about Jason is he's been in big games. You know, he's played in Oregon Stadium, he's played against BYU, he's played against Colorado, Northwestern, and a lot of big games. He's a young man that has a tremendous amount of confidence in himself. He's done a good job of leading our team and our players, and showing that he's very serious and can run the offense and is a great competitor. So we just go out there and play.
Yeah, Coach. Oklahoma State lost Chuba Hubbard and Tylan Wallace, kind of their two most known offensive players. What do you expect from them offensively?
Well, they always do a good job offensively. You know, the tempo is a number one challenge for us. We've got to be able to get lined up, understand the formations, and then be able to handle what they do out of the formations. And they're good at what they've done. Coach Gundy's been good at it for a long, long time. So it's something that we've got to work really hard at. We know they're going to have receivers that can go down the field. But you have to stop the run game first. That's always one of the things about defense is you have to stop their run game first and then be able to put some pressure and give the quarterback some different looks. So being able to do that with the tempo that they go is the challenge.
Coach, we need to talk about Kevin Ellis a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about him and how he's progressed, and then what you need to see from him Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin's one of the toughest guys on our team. Practices extremely hard every single day. He's a very, very physical player. So he's really good against the run and really good pass rusher. Drop-in coverage. He's a guy we asked to do a lot of different things, but the ultimate playmaker. And particularly when the game's on the line and in big situations in the spring, he was the guy that came up with the forced fumble or an interception or a sack. But I think the thing that's so fun to see is it all starts with toughness and effort with him. And his attitude and the way he plays the game of football makes everybody else around him better.
Run game has been, I don't know if it's concerned, but something that you've been saying needs to have improvement going into Oklahoma State. Just where you're at right now and how you feel about that going this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've made some strides. some of the run game, you know, after scrimmages, when I look back at it, is we're not calling enough run plays. That's my fault, you know. So we worked on that, making sure that we're running the ball enough and working different phases of the running game. It still has a ways to go. You know, we still have to be consistent with our landmarks on our blocks and how we're finishing our blocks, and our running backs understanding how to press holes, make cuts. And, so it's a work in progress that we're continuing to work hard at every day.